for once. And you can also avoid police by holding down the right bumper R2 to kind of tuck your head to the side or act like you're talking on your walkie, and that keeps your disguise safe from them as well. And the new feature works really great. Now I know it seems like this game is mainly stealth, and well, it is. But there are some great firefights if you happen to get in them. Combat is very realistic, well, decently realistic for a video game, I suppose, and very fun. But gamers who hate it might find some unjust in the system. The story runs around 7 to 10 hours, and there is some nice replay value here. Since each mission can be done a million different ways, most people want to go back and do some missions at least once to try a different way. Now that all that's over, I'm going to try a new part here, where I look up some critic reviews and try to give some opposite sides to them. Since that's why I made this channel in the first place, I'm just going to look up some bad reviews it got and see what people are criticizing it for and see if there's any just to it. After looking up the bad reviews for Absolution, they all pretty much have the same thing in common. The main problem I see here is either, quote-unquote, the Hitman series is no longer how it used to be, or the developers need to look back what made those games great in the first place. But the one in particular I want to talk about is The Telegraph. It gave it a 2 out of 5, and there was a lot of things that really didn't make any sense to me. In his review, his main negative opinions were Agent 47 having a conscience and a personality. Okay, that one doesn't make any sense to me because like I said before, I was personally glad that Agent 47 finally had a personality. I mean, after 5 games, don't you want to know something about the main character? I mean, he's not a robot, and eventually they're going to have to do something with him. He can't just remain mysterious and unknown for so long. He's been around for over 12, 13 years now in the series, and it's about time we knew something about him. Maybe that's just my opinion, but we definitely don't see eye to eye there. He also complained that there's too much story involved. Okay. I guess I don't understand that one either. Now, granted, he did say the story was extremely bad, so maybe that's why, but you can't blame a game for having so much story. He claims that the narrative is what drove the other games, and then this one having a storyline is too weird, and I guess he says it just claims it doesn't work. The reason I don't agree with this one either is because there are a lot of games coming out nowadays that don't have storylines. They just come out and they just throw a single player together and it's a shooter and none of it makes any sense. At least Hitman Absolution tried. I mean, granted, it's not that great, like I mentioned before, and a lot of the time you don't care what's going on, but at least they tried to put the story into it so it didn't drift off. And the story being bad, well, I think it's decent at worst. I wouldn't say it's bad, but I can kind of see where he's coming from there. But his main complaint is just like the other ones, is that it's too linear and not open like other Hitman games, and that it just doesn't feel like a Hitman game. And where I totally see where you're coming from, because I love series like Splinter Cell that's going a different direction, and Metal Gear Solid that's going a different direction, unfortunately, you just got to realize sometimes that games are going to go in different directions. They do that. And they have to, especially with new gens. Hitman has been around for, like I said, this is the 5th game now, and in over 12 years of games, it's got to change eventually, and especially since this was a different company coming in, I have to give them some major credit for changing it up. Every game can't be the same, otherwise people were going to get tired of it. Looking at you, Call of Duty. The other complaint he had is he said the game was too easy. Well, that's easy. You just turn up the difficulty. And even he said when you turn up the difficulty, sometimes it's still too easy. Well, maybe you're just really good at the game. I'm not for sure, but that's kind of a weird one to argue. The majority of the time reading this review, I have to be honest, and it's not just him either. It's other people who hated on this game. They did a lot of, and I hate to be that guy, but bitching. I mean, the thing is, in this in the Telegraph review alone, he does no mentioning of the gameplay or how smooth it is or the graphics, how nice the graphics are. There's no mention in that whatsoever. It's just talking about all the things I mentioned about how Hitman's not the same game anymore and how linear it is. Aren't games supposed to be marked for that very thing? Anyway, I'm rambling now. I apologize. I think Hitman offers a lot for fans of stealth or past Hitman games. It's no run and gun, but if you enjoy some fun stealth and great level design, you have to check Hitman out, especially since it retails for about $20 as we speak. Thanks for watching. It's Nick Moody Gaming. There's more to come.